All right, so good morning. Welcome to Mobile Realtor with Miami, Part 2, RPR and Remine. I'm Maggie. I'll be your trainer this morning. And with you in the chat, you have Connie. She is also a trainer. She will be there to answer your questions. So as we go through, if you have any doubts or anything you need answered, she will definitely be able to answer your questions. Now, in today's class, part 1, which was at 9:30 this morning, covered HomeSnap. And then part 2, which is what we are covering right now, again, is the Remine mobile app and the RPR mobile app. Before we get started, I do want to point out that if you go to miamirealtors.com/RPR, you'll get a little more information about RPR. And what's nice is that both Remine and RPR pretty much allow you to do everything you can do on the web-based version on the mobile application. Meaning, if I create something on the web-based version, I'll be able to access it and see it on the mobile application. And I can also do pretty much everything on the mobile application and then also see that reflected when I log in through a computer or a laptop, etc. The applications are both available in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Downloading the applications is 100% free, so there is no additional cost for the use of these applications. And also, neither one of these applications has an upgrade that requires you pay anything additional. Okay, so everything I will be showing you and everything I will be pointing out is free for Miami members. Now, RPR is an NAR product. RPR stands for Realtor Property Resource. It is a product from National Association of Realtors. It does not have a consumer version, which means that this application was designed and built for agents. It does not have a version that the consumer or customer can download, unlike HomeSnap. If you have not used RPR, I highly recommend you activate your account. Again, you can always do this on a mobile device, but I feel that activating accounts and going through those processes usually is a little more comfortable on a laptop, on a computer, even a tablet, something with a larger screen. Sometimes when you're doing this on a mobile device, things get cut off or you can't really see them all that well. To activate your RPR account, you would just go to narrpr.com and you would activate there. I'm going to go ahead and just share this link with you in the chat. If you have, so I just shared the link. I know it looks really long, but it should work just fine. Okay, now NAR RPR does have multiple classes dedicated to it. And I will recommend, or I would recommend that after this class where we discuss the mobile applications, if you have not attended or watched the recordings for RPR and Remine, I recommend you do so. But RPR, make sure that you activate your account by clicking on Create a New Account. You're going to use your last name and email, click on Next. They will email you instructions to set up your password. You will use that email and password to log in both on the computer and on the mobile application. I suggest you write it down somewhere because once you log in, it is not going to ask you for that password again. And in the future, if you change your cell phone and you need that password, you have probably forgotten it by that point. So I would recommend you jot down your password somewhere safe. Okay, so once you activate, again, you will use that email address and that password to log into the mobile application on your cell phone. Now, Remine does not require any additional activation. You're just going to download the application and use your MLS credentials, which is your license and your password. But this is the page dedicated to Remine, miamirealtors.com/Remine. It's just going to explain to you everything that you have access to. And again, you have access to Remine Pro free from Miami. Our classes are recorded and posted on youtube.com/miamitrainers, as well as miamirealtorslive.com. Connie does a really great job of sharing these links with you in the chat. And if I mention any classes, she also shares that information with you in the chat as well. All right. So now that I've pointed out just a couple of things that I wanted to show you on the computer, I'm going to go ahead and mirror my cell phone so that you can see the mobile application in action. All right. So you should see my RPR mobile application on screen right now. Okay. And RPR has 3 different home screens. So what that means is as I swipe left or right, you're going to see 3 different screens. So I just want to explain to you what we have going on here, and then we'll dive into your profile and settings, which can also be done on the computer, and we'll start diving into the use of the application. Okay, so what you see here is one of the home screens. Again, you have 3 different ones. And so as I swipe through, it'll kind of switch around. Okay, so one screen is dedicated to what's going on near you. This application, just like HomeSnap, uses your GPS location. And so right now it's showing me what's happening within a half mile of where I am, how many properties are for sale, how many are new, how many recently sold, distressed, which are those foreclosure or pre-foreclosure properties, and how many leases or rentals. Okay, you have another screen that will show you some statistics like the median estimated value of properties, the median listing price, the sales price according to the public record, the changes to those sales prices, the median days that the properties are in RPR. If I swipe yet again, I have my search screen. This allows me to search using address, city, zip code, or MLS number. I can see my listings. I can check market activity. I can get information and nearby listings for schools, keyword searches for certain keywords and terms within the remarks, owner name or APN, which is those folio numbers, and then I can change these search defaults if I wanted to. Okay, so these are the 3 screens that we've got. Okay, now along the top we have our settings, okay, which allows us to edit our profile and change our account settings. We have our magnifying glass, which is going to take us to the search screen. So no matter what screen I'm on here, if I wanted to search, I tap on that magnifying glass and it's going to take me to the search screen. The circle with the arrow is going to take you to the map and show you the activity near you on the map. Okay. If I want to go back home, I tap on that home icon. Okay, and it's going to take me back to my home screen. As I mentioned, in the center, you have these 3 main home screens that you can swipe through. And then at the bottom of the screen, you have your reports. If you have used RPR, every report that you can create on the computer, on the web-based version, you can create on your cell phone. Obviously, it's going to feel a little different. And it might not feel as comfortable as doing this on a computer, but in a pinch, if you need to create a report, you can. You can also use RPR on the tablet. So for those of you who like to use the mobile applications and just want something with a larger display, I would recommend using these applications on your tablets. Next to reports, you have recent. This is going to show you recent properties that you've viewed, both on the web-based version and on the application. Searches, so your most recent searches, both on the web-based version and on the application. So if you notice, some of these have a little cell phone. Those were searches that were conducted on the application. If it has a little screen icon, those were searches that I conducted on my web-based version, so on my computer. And this is the activity for the last 30 days. So if you haven't used RPR in the last 30 days, this will show up blank. You have your recent reports. So those are the most recent reports you've created. Again, this is going to be both reports that you've created on the computer and on your mobile device, and then any recent notes that you've taken. Okay. And notes can be written notes, voice memos, or pictures. Okay, if I go back home, next to recent, I have saved. Okay, so I can save properties. It's a star. So if I like a property and I want to revisit it later, I can just tap on the star and save it, and I would see it under saved. Also, you have your saved searches here. If I tap on searches, I'm going to go ahead and see those saved searches here. Okay, I'm going to go back to my home screen. So that's just a nice little breakdown of what you see when you first open the application. Let's go ahead and look at our profile and some of our settings. So on the left-hand side, top corner, we're going to go ahead and tap on that gear. Okay. And RPR does have both residential and commercial data. So the first thing you see at the very top is the ability to toggle between residential and commercial. So if I tap on that button and it switches to red, when I now try to go to my home screen, it's going to take a few minutes because it's now loading commercial data. Let me give it a second. Okay, so again, now I have the same information pretty much, but focused on commercial. Commercial will always appear in red. So I have that activity near me, I have those statistics, and then I have the search options. I still have access to the reports, the recent, and the saved, but now everything is focused on the commercial side. I'm going to go back to residential. So I'm going to tap on that gear in the top left corner, and I'm going to switch to residential or switch back. Now you do have a welcome guide. Okay. If I tap on the welcome guide, it's just kind of like a walkthrough of the application. Okay. So just a little synopsis, basically everything that I just explained to you or will be explaining to you. Okay. But just from the application. So if you ever want like a little review, you can always use that welcome guide. If I tap on the profile, I've already filled this out on the computer, so it does transfer over to the application. So something that I really like about Remine and RPR, their applications will sync with your web-based version. So there's no need to do things twice in situations like with your profile, because it does carry over from whatever you did on your computer. Okay, so I do have my profile set up through the computer and it just transferred over here. Now I can, once that's done, share my contact information, which is nice. So I can just tap on that and I can then send it via text, WhatsApp, email, etc. So I can share my contact information with someone from RPR to a text message, WhatsApp, or an email. I can also edit my profile from my cell phone as well. So from my mobile device, I can go ahead and tap on edit, and now I can change my picture, add the logo, edit my information, my contact information, and then when I'm done, I tap on save. I will say that the profile on the web-based version is a little more detailed because you can add assistants if you needed to. You can add other MLSs or licenses if you're licensed elsewhere. Okay. User settings, if I tap on user settings and I give it a second to load. Again, this also carries over from the web-based version. And so set nearby to means that anytime I have the application show me something near me, I can set that radius here. So I have it set to 1/2 mile, as you can see right here, but you can use this little circle and just move it over, and that's going to increase your radius. Now for residential and commercial, you can set what you determine as new and what you determine to be a recent sale. That doesn't mean that it's going to limit your results. It's just an extra little tag or label that gets attached to that listing or property. So I can say, set my new listings to 7 days, right? And so I'm going to see all the active listings, but the ones that were entered in the last 7 days will also have a little label that says new or that has an N for new. With the sales, you can set this as well. I like to set it to 180 days because when you're looking for comparables, you're usually looking at the last 180 days of sales. Okay, for commercial, you have the same options, so you can set that as however you'd like. But again, this carries over from what you did on the computer, and then what I changed now will be reflected when I'm on the web-based version as well. My homepage options, those 3 screens that I showed you, you can actually remove some of them. So if you're not interested in seeing those 3 screens, you can toggle from show to hide to get rid of them. And then if you long press, oops, sorry, my screen is acting up, but you can get rid of them. So if you're not interested in like the local market data, you can go ahead and tap on show, it switches to hide, and then you can always bring it back. All right, you have notifications. These are notifications for the mobile application. So you can set notifications up to receive any status changes for saved properties, any listing price changes for saved properties, or any changes to the estimated value according to RPR. The same with your listings, okay, and the same with reports. So I've set it up for reports because the reports take a few minutes. So this allows me to go do something else. And then when the report is ready, I'll get a notification on my mobile device that the report has been generated. Okay, we have access to RPR. This is just my login, MLS and CIE sources, which should already say Realtor Association of Miami. Mine says it right here. But if you are licensed elsewhere, you can, or if you're a member with another association with a secondary membership, you can go ahead and add those in here as well. You have FAQs, which are frequently asked questions, and you have some legal terms. If you need assistance, you can email RPR, call them, or go to Facebook. They have a Facebook group. RPR is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Since it is an NAR product, they are available at all hours for all members across the country. And remember that as Miami members, you are also members of Florida Realtors and National Association of Realtors. All right, I'm going to go back to my home screen. So I'm going to go ahead and start talking about the search options. Let's say I wanted to search using a specific MLS number. I tap on that magnifying glass to make sure I'm on the search screen. And then in the search bar, I can use an address. If I'm searching for listings or properties, I can search in a city or a zip code. I can also use a specific MLS ID, so an MLS number. RPR does have listing data, and they also have tax information. So even if the property is not listed, you would at the very minimum see information from the tax record. They also have information and MLS data from more than 260 participating associations across the country. So RPR is also a great application to use if you have a customer who is searching for properties and searching to purchase something elsewhere. So I can go ahead, and if I needed to find listings in North Carolina, I could come in here and potentially find those listings from, let's say, Raleigh, North Carolina. But you can go ahead and search in other MLSs here because, again, they have data from 261 different associations last time I checked on that number. So I'm going to go ahead and let's say I have an MLS number. I just want to show you really quickly. I can go ahead and I can type in the MLS number. Okay, hit enter, and there it is, right? So this is a listing. It is a pending sale, but I have the pictures. Okay, if I were to tap on the pictures, it's just going to switch the view. So originally it's in this grid view. You'll see it here. It's like a little gallery. So bottom right corner, I can see the pictures and swipe through. Okay, if I tap on it again, it's going to open it up to just one picture. Okay. And then you have that little airplane, which is just going to give you like the aerial satellite shot. Okay, this is a pending sale. Okay, here's my price per square foot. The AVM is the automated valuation model. It's their estimate of the value of that property. It's got 6 beds, 11 baths. There's the square footage. Pending as of November, days on RPR 510, and then I have an investor analysis. If you want to use the investor analysis, I highly recommend a class usually taught by Robert. It's called Working with Investors. He does use this investor analysis tool in RPR, and the same way it works on the computer, it works on your mobile device. Because this is an active listing, I do see the listing agent. I can call the listing agent. I see the remarks. I can open up the virtual tour. I can search for nearby properties that are for sale, so I can look for other similar listings. I can search for comparables, and I can create a comp analysis, which will create a CMA. Again, if you've taken our RPR classes and if you've taken our CMA workshop, you already know how this works in RPR, and it works the same way on your mobile device. If you haven't taken those classes, again, I recommend them. Homeowner Faqs. Okay, and then as I mentioned, RPR does have listing and tax record information. So I have public, listing, and any changes that I need to document. When you document your changes, it is for your eyes only. It's for your use. It does not affect the data that is visible by other users of RPR. So this is just for you. Okay, I see some stats, so the median estimated home value and those changes. I see the price change history, the sales transactions, school information and school grades, okay, features, legal description, mortgage, and tax info. At the very bottom of the screen, I can go ahead and I can call the agent. So again, I have another button to call the listing agent down here. I can take notes. Okay, and what I take notes of, I can add a note, so I can actually type something out. I can add a picture. So as I'm walking through the listing, I want to take pictures. Maybe I noticed some water damage. Maybe I want to take pictures of certain furnishings to ask if it's going to be included. Whatever the case may be, you can take pictures. And then you can also add a voice memo. So as you're walking through, you can just record yourself talking about the property and what you see. Again, anything that you take notes of is just for you and only visible in your account. And if you do it on the cell phone, when you log into RPR on your computer or laptop, you will see those same notes there. So it does sync across the different devices. Okay, if I go back, I'm going to tap on that arrow. Okay, now aside from notes, I can also then choose to create a report for this property. So when I tap on reports, I just want to show you that the same reports that are available on your computer, on your laptop, are available here. So I can create a full property report. I can create a seller's report, which is their version of a CMA. I can create a flyer. I can create a mini property report, a market activity report, a neighborhood report, a school report. I can create a buyer tour, and I can create a comp analysis. The comp analysis is a little more detailed, okay? Now for any of these reports, let's say I want a property report. When I tap on it, the very first option says all custom pages, yes. For those of you who have used RPR on your computer or laptop, you know that you can remove pages. So if I say no, I don't want all the pages, I can then choose to remove my custom pages, which are pages that I've uploaded. I can also do the same thing with the report sections. If I say all report sections, no, these are all of the pages that are included in the report. And if I want to remove any of them, I'm just going to toggle that button from yes to no and remove that page from my report. Okay, also the cover elements. Let me go back up and close this so that you can see it. But the cover elements are the information, your information as it appears on the first page, so on the cover page. If I don't want all of my information, I can say no to all, and then I can remove things. So for example, if I want to remove the office address, I got to leave the office name, but if I want to remove the office address, I can. If I want to remove the fax, let's say, and the work phone number so that it's just my cell phone, I can. Okay, and that's how you would edit your reports on your mobile device. You would have to make sure that if you want to remove pages where it says all report sections, you say no, because you don't want all of them. So I would say no, and then I would remove those pages. The same thing for the cover sheet. If you don't want all of your profile information on the cover sheet, you can then say no and remove the items that you'd like to remove. You then tap on next. You can download it or email it. I'm going to go ahead and download it to show you how it appears on your cell phone. And then at the top of the screen, I'm going to click on Get Report. Okay, now I can exit this screen. I can create another report, or I can go to view my recent reports. I'm going to exit this. All right, now it's creating the report. I'm going to go back home. I wanted to show you what would happen if I looked for a specific property, whether by address or MLS number. So you can pull up that property, you can study it, you can create reports. If it's on the MLS, you can go ahead and contact the listing agent directly from the application. That specific property no longer had it, but if the listing is also configured on showing time, which is something done by the listing agent, you can also request a showing. That is linked here on RPR. Again, so long as the listing is on showing time. Now, let's say I wanted to search for listings because my customer wants to know, if there are any single family homes available in a specific area. I can again tap on that magnifying glass at the top of the screen. And this time, let's say I'm looking in 33145. Okay, there it is. I tap on it from that list. And now it's going to take me to the map. It is showing me everything possible in that zip code. So if I want to narrow this down, at the bottom of the screen, you have a little gear. If I tap on the gear, it's a legend basically to let me know what all of those different colors on the map mean, which is nice to have. Sort is how you like to see your results sorted. If I tap on sort, I have it sorted from least expensive to most expensive, but you can sort it by which one was most recently updated, by proximity, bedroom, bathroom, etc. So you have a few different options for how the results are sorted. Next to sort, I have filter. Filter is going to allow me to now tailor down the search. So let's say I don't want to include all property statuses. I'm going to say, no, I don't want them all. And let's say I only want active. And then as I scroll down, do I want all property types? No, I want to see what's going on with single family. And then open houses, do I only want to see open houses? Sometimes you may, sometimes you don't. So I'm going to leave that as no. Bedrooms, let's say they want a minimum of 2, so 2 plus, 2 plus. Price range, I can just move these over. So let's say they want, anything that is less than $700,000. Living area, that's square footage, lot size, square footage, year built, and then keywords. When you're done, you tap apply filters, and you'll notice that the results on my map will be significantly reduced. As you can see, there are less colors on the map, and that's because it's focused on what I asked: single family, 2 minimum, $700,000 or less. Now, if I were to say, oh, my report is ready, so there's my little note. I'll show it to you in a few. Let's say I wanted to focus in on a more specific area and I wanted to draw on the map. The bottom right corner of the map, you have a circle with 3 dots. If I tap on that, I can now measure distance. I can now do travel time, which is like commute time, but I can only use one address. I have traffic counts, which will tell me the traffic or the number of cars that travel on those streets a day. I can change the map view. Maybe I want the satellite version. I can add the schools to the map for school information, parcels so that I can see the parcels outlined, and then I can draw. So let's say I wanted to draw. I'm going to tap on that and I'm going to draw on this small section. Okay, and now I only see the results in this section. Again, maybe I want to add in schools. If I tap on schools, I can say show me nearby schools, and we're going to see the schools. Okay, now keep in mind that with most of these applications, you can only have one shape on the map at a time. So when you ask for nearby schools, it will erase whatever you had on there to show you the schools that are within a half mile of where you are. Okay. All right. So let's say I'm going to go back to drawing. Oops, I'm going to draw there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw there, and it's going to focus on that area. Realize that now the schools are specific to that area. What's nice about the schools as well is if I tap on the school, it's going to give me information on the school, whether it's private, public, or charter, the grades that they serve, and then for each school, you can find nearby properties, and if available, you can get a school report. So I'm going to go ahead and let's say I want to get information or nearby properties for this. It looks like it's a pre-K kinder, so early childhood. I'm going to go ahead and say find nearby properties. Okay, and it's going to give me the nearby properties. Again, you want to narrow this down. You're going to go to filter and you're going to narrow it down. So you can add your status, you can add your property type. A lot of what RPR does with their filters is it includes everything under the sun. So when you don't want everything, you have to switch it to no and then hand select the ones that you want to include. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and apply the filters. Now, everything's on the map. If I tap on one of these properties, on one of these listings, it will then pull it up at the bottom of the screen. And if I want to open up the details even further, I'm going to tap on it again and it will open the full details, as we did earlier when we searched for a property by MLS number. Let's say I wanted to see this in a list instead. At the top of the screen, it says list. I tap on list. And now I see the properties listed. So I can see that I'm looking at 16. So it says I'm showing 16 of 16. I can then, scroll through them. Now, again, if you want to see the details, you're going to tap on that picture. It's going to open the full listing details, right? and I can then see the information. Now, unfortunately, I cannot share with my customers. So as you can see, nowhere on this screen, and it wasn't there with the other listing either, nowhere on this screen is there a share option. Okay, so what you would have to do is create a report, okay, or even create a flyer and share that with the customer. Now, if I wanted to save this listing to look at it later, maybe I don't have time to create the report right now, but I want to make sure that I get to it and send it to the customer, you know, after my meetings or what have you. At the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little star. And if I tap on that star, okay, I can save the property. I can customize it. So if this is for my customer John Doe, I can put John Doe. If you do not want to save it with a customer's name or with a custom name, all you have to do is click on save using the default address, and it's just going to save it using the address of the property. So I'm going to save it. It lets you know it's been added to saved. So where am I going to see all of this? If I go back home, my saved properties are going to be here. So if I tap on that star at the bottom right, okay, properties, there's the property that I just saved with all of you right now. Okay, and then I can go back in and I can create my reports. Now we created a report for the other listing that I showed you, and that report is ready. Where am I going to view it? Usually we would think it's under reports, but that's where we go to generate them. Once the report has been created, it's actually in recent because it's a recent report. I tap on recent, I go to reports, and the report that I created, that property report, is right up here. It's in chronological order. This is how I would share information with a customer. I would create a report, and then if you notice, I can open it to view it, and I can tap on share to send it to them. That's how I would share property information from RPR. Again, RPR does not have a version of the application for the customer. It is built for realtors, and it does not have a share button built into the listing details or the property details. I have to create some sort of report, whether it's a property report, a mini property report, a flyer, and then once that's been generated, I can share that with the customer. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open this report just to give you an idea. We do show you each of these reports in detail when you take an RPR residential class, and we show you the reports for commercial in detail when you take an RPR commercial class. But this is the report for the property, and it's going to have all of the information. It's going to have demographics. It's going to have neighborhood information, quality of life, all the pictures, the statistics. So it's a really lengthy report. And then if I want to share it from here, I also have this little square with an arrow at the top. But again, when you're looking at your list of reports, if you tap on share, it's going to allow you to share it through your cell phone as well. Okay, I'm going to go back. Now, if I wanted to save my search, okay, so I add my filters and I want to save my search. So again, I'm just going to say active, and I'm going to say for the property types, let's say single family. Okay. When you are searching, notice that at the bottom of the screen, there's a star. Anytime you see a star, that is to save or favorite something. Because I am still staring at the list or at the entire results. So I've got my results on the map. If I go to list, I've got my list of results. As long as I don't tap into a specific property and I tap on the star instead at the bottom, that is going to save the entire search. Okay, so here I'm just going to name it 33133, save with custom name. And now it says it's added to my saved searches. So if I do this while in the details of a property, it saves that property. If I do this from the list of results, it's going to save the entire search. Again, where do I see that? From the home screen, I tap on saved at the bottom, and that's going to allow me to see my saved properties and my saved searches. Here's the search I just saved with all of you. If I no longer want it, I'm going to tap on that star again. So down at the bottom, I tap on the star again, and it is removed from saved searches. Same with the property. Now, in terms of the other tools that you have built in here, you do have, as I mentioned, travel time, which is commute time. So I can then, how are they getting there, walking or driving? I can move things around. I can select criteria and I can apply it. Okay. So let's say they're driving. I say drive time. Let's say they want to get there in half an hour, and you can even set the time. So let's say they go to work on weekdays. So let's say Monday, they have to be there at 9 a.m. And I say apply. And then I can finish adding my filters for what I'm looking for. And then anything that is within that shape is going to allow them to get to work in that time. It only allows for you to add in, you know, some kind of general details about the commute time. The one for HomeSnap is more detailed. Okay, the other thing that you can do is you can actually measure distance as well. So if I tap, I can go ahead and I can say select the distance, a mile, 3 miles, and create a radius. The other thing you can do is traffic. So if I tap on traffic, it is going to tell me there's a legend at the bottom. Let me go ahead and zoom in. Let me close traffic counts a little bit. Let me zoom in so that you can see the traffic counts. Okay, so traffic counts are going to tell you the number of cars that drive down that street on a daily basis. So for someone that tells you they want to live somewhere where there isn't a lot of traffic, or they're not going to hear a lot of traffic, this may come in handy. All of these different triangles mean different colors, mean different things, and you have that at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to close that out. We already discussed map view is going to change it from street view to satellite or hybrid. That's personal preference. And you also have the school information, which we already discussed. Parcels are going to draw parcels. There we go. So you see those lines? That's just letting me know where each parcel is. Okay, and then we have the drawing option, which allows us to draw on the map. Okay, I'm going to go back home. So again, you can use this on the go, and everything that you do on the mobile device, you'll then have access to, and you'll see it when you log into the web-based version. Okay, let's switch over to Remine. Remine does also have a version of the application for the customer. So the 3 applications that are covered in Mobile Realtor with Miami are HomeSnap, RPR, and Remine. HomeSnap and Remine both have versions for your customer. RPR does not. Okay. Now, let's say I wanted to invite my customer to use this. At the top, I want to invite them to register. At the top where it says step 1 invite, I would tap. Okay, and these are all of my contacts from my cell phone, and I can go ahead and select them and send it to them that way. Okay, it's going to encourage them to register to use Remine. It will verify their identity through a credit report. It's a soft pull, so it doesn't negatively impact their credit score, and it is also optional, so they can skip past it if they don't want to use it. Okay, so the step 1 invite is to invite a customer to register to use Remine, and their account is tied to you, so you're the only person that they see. Docs is a part of Remine that allows you to upload documents and contracts and then send them out for digital signatures or electronic signatures. It does not allow you to fill out the contracts, so you would still need to do that somewhere else and then download it and upload it here so that you can ask for those signatures. If I tap on view more, it's going to give me the option to create a saved search, to start a chat. The chat feature only works with other agents that use Remine. It does not work with anyone who isn't an agent. And I can add a new card. The cards are these rectangles that you see in the middle of my screen. Okay, so there is one for market trends. Okay, and you can specify a zip code. So as you can see, I have one dedicated to 33127 and one dedicated to 33129. The cards also have a little gear. Okay, and if I tap on that gear, it's going to ask me if I want to delete that card or duplicate it. If I tap on the square, it's just going to close it. So if I don't want them all open, I can just close them and then open the ones that I want to open when I want to open them. Okay, you have Remine Live. Remine Live has an entire class and recording on our YouTube channel and Miami Realtors Live. Your listings Engage will let you know what your customer is doing once they've registered to use Remine. Listing updates would be updates to listings that you've chosen to save or follow. And property notifications are updates to the properties that are off MLS, off market, that you've chosen to follow. This is the daily screen, so this is the starting point. This is what you see every time you open Remine. At the bottom of the screen, you have search, which is self-explanatory. That's going to take us to their search. We have carts. The carts are almost like file folders, and they're file folders that allow you to save specific properties, whether they're on or off MLS. Remine only has our MLS data, but they do have tax records and information for all properties across the country. So you can use Remine to study a property's tax record if it's outside of our MLS. You then have the chat, which is again a chat, and it's built for other agents. So it's a way I would communicate with other agents in Remine. And then you have more. If I tap on more, this is where I would see my profile. Again, engage is where I would see what my customers are doing. Okay. I have my saved searches. And if I tap on save searches, by the way, these are the searches that I've saved on the computer. Okay. So they do carry over. I have my contacts. Again, these are the contacts that I saved on my computer, but I can also save a brand new contact by tapping on the plus symbol at the top right. I have my settings. Okay, this is just letting me know that my account is a Remine Pro account. Everyone's account should be Remine Pro. You have your system settings, you have your support, you have about. Okay, you have a mortgage calculator, a tour log, and you have docs again. If you want to update your profile, this does come from what you did on the computer, but you can edit here as well if you tap on edit. Okay. Let me go back. All right, now let's jump into a search. So at the bottom of the screen, search, I tap on that magnifying glass, and then I can up here where it says address, person, or agent, I can search that way as well. If I tap, let's say I'm looking in, let's use Miami Lakes. I'm going to type in Miami Lakes and it comes up. You can also use neighborhoods. So you can use Brickell and it'll pull up Brickell. Okay, here's Miami Lakes. Now, beneath your search bar, you have the map, which is where we currently are, and we have the list if we want to see the list of results. We then also, on the right-hand side, have sort and filter. If I tap on sort and filter, I can decide if I want to search for sales or for rentals. I can decide how I want my results sorted. I have them sorted by price, lowest to highest. You can tap on that and switch it to address, bedrooms, bathrooms, days on market, etc. Beneath that, you have MLS status. So you can say maybe you want active and active with contract, right? And you can tap on as many statuses as you want. Do you want to include closed listings? Do you want to only see open houses? Do you want to, change the list price? So let's say 500,000 or let's say 450 or less. Building type, you can specify various here if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and say single family and townhomes. Okay. You can then, after your list price and building type, specify bedrooms and bathrooms. You can just move these little circles. Okay. So I can say, bedrooms 0 to 3, bathrooms 0 to 3. Square footage, lot size, basement, garage, parking spaces, floors, year built, flood zone. When you're done, you're going to tap on update at the bottom of the screen, and it's going to update the results that you see on the map. If you don't want to see them on the map, remember, you do have the option of switching to list view up at the top, and it'll take you to list. Okay, now on the map, you have save. If I tap on save, it's going to let me save this search. I can name it, and then I can also set it up almost like an auto email. So where it says frequency, I can say ASAP, which means as soon as new listings come in, notifications are sent out. I can say daily, once a day. I can say weekly, once a week. And if I don't want this to be an auto email and I just want to save the search, I would say never. Now, if I do want to set this up as an auto email, you would then need to add a contact if you want to include a contact. If you just want this for yourself, you can set it up as an auto email for yourself and leave the contact blank and then say, add me to the emails. So it wouldn't go to any of your contacts, but it would go to you if you're interested in being updated. And then you would just tap on done. Remember that all of your saved searches are then visible if you tap on more at the bottom right and you go to save searches from here. When you see this list, you can obviously, as you can see, delete them by clicking on or tapping on that trash can icon, or you can edit those notifications, or you can edit the save search by tapping on the pencil. This is going to allow you to edit the name, the frequency, and the criteria. Okay, I'm going to go back. Go back to the search, and what's nice is that even when you jump to other parts, it will keep what you were searching for, and then you can just clear it all out and filter it for something new when you need to. So you don't lose your search if you were to jump around the application. You do have the option to draw. Again, if I draw on the map, okay, there we go. It's going to narrow it down to what I drew, and it's going to disregard that original border that we had for Miami Lakes. Okay, if I tap on draw again, it's going to erase the drawing. Satellite is going to change to satellite view, and open live is going to let me know if there is anyone currently going live on Remine, and I can watch their virtual tours live in real time. At the bottom left of the screen, you have nearby. Nearby is going to take you to where you currently are and show you what's going on around you. Okay, so it's going to use your GPS. All right. Let me go back to Miami Lakes. There we go. All right, so if I wanted to see any details for any of these listings, I'm going to tap on one of those, right? So if I zoom in, you'll start to see the results on the map. There's a property in the middle of a lake. Okay. All right. We're going to go ahead and tap on one of them, and you'll see a little rectangle at the bottom of the screen with a quick summary. It allows you to kind of jump around between results. And then it'll tell you the address, the bedrooms, the bathrooms. It will tell you the list price in this situation, or it will tell you the estimated value. If I wanted to go to another result, I could actually just swipe, and it's going to take me from one thumbnail to the next, basically. If I tap on it, it's going to open the details. So now I can tap on the picture and see all the pictures from the listing. I can see the history if I tap on view history. Okay, it's listed at $425. It's a townhouse. It's been owned 2.8 years. There's the owner's name. I can then also see the value, the loan balance, and the estimated equity. Estimated. I can start a route. So if I wanted driving directions from where I am, I can share the route with someone. Here are the lot dimensions. Here's the listing agent. I can call them, message them, email them. Here are the remarks, the listing details, the public record. All of these say show more. And if you tap on show more, it's going to open up some details for you. You also have school information. You can tap on view all schools. It's going to give you a longer list. You can then also break it down by elementary, middle, or high. The valuation, and the valuations are usually coming from Black Knight, First American, and Redfin sometimes. And what they'll give you is an estimate. You can also kind of chip in your opinion, and they will take that into consideration as long as it's reasonable and you're not putting something like $1. Demographics for the area. If I tap on view all, I'm going to get household information, education and career information, and income information for that zip code. You have the property history, assessment, mortgages, and any associated people, which includes owners and anyone who live there or has had their name associated with that address. At the bottom of the screen, again, I can message the agent. If I wanted to, I could save this in a cart. So at the top right, you see there's a cart. I can tap on the cart and save it. Now, when you create a cart, and this part you can only do on the computer. I said you could do almost everything on the app, but not everything. When you share it to a cart, it could just stay there, but you also have the option of sharing your carts with a customer or client, which means you're basically going to tailor what they see, and they will only see what you have added to the cart. Okay, so I can go ahead and add this property to a cart. Next to the cart, you have a little square with an arrow. This allows you to send it via message, email it, copy the link, send it in the chat, or share the route. So if I wanted to email it to a customer, or if I wanted to text it to them, I would copy the link, put it in a text message or in my WhatsApp, and I would send it to them that way. Next to that, you have 3 dots. If I tap on those 3 dots, I can view the tour logs, I can start a tour, create a CMA, or calculate the mortgage, the estimated mortgage. I'm going to get out of here. Okay, so now if I go to list, okay, again, when you're sharing, you have to share one at a time unless you've already created a cart, and then you can just start putting these into a cart and the customer will see everything you've put into the cart. When I put it in list format, it's going to pull up the list of results. Okay. And it does work very much with the map. So because I zoomed into part of the map, it's only showing me what exists on the map there. If I were to zoom out and then tap on list, my results will show me everything that came up in that shape, which in this case was Miami Lakes. Okay. And I can go ahead. And again, you have to share them one by one unless you've already created a cart and shared that cart with the customer. If you don't know how to do that and you would like to learn how to do that, please take our Remine Pro class, or please watch our Remine Pro recording that is available on youtube.com/miamitrainers and miamirealtorslive.com. Now, let me go back. If you decide to use Remine Live, which allows you to live stream a virtual tour and allows you to walk through and talk about the property when it's your listing, you can do so. So from the home screen, and we do have a recording dedicated to just that, but since we're here, might as well show you. You go to my listings. Okay, there's my listing. I can tap on it. And at the bottom of the screen, this is a hypothetical listing that we have. You can say create live open house, right? I tap on that and I can select the date and the time. If you would like to use Remine Live, you're going to say stream with Remine Live. If you would like to use your Instagram, your Facebook, you're going to go ahead and pop those links in down here. Okay, and you would create it. And then you would stream from your cell phone. Again, we have a recording available of this already on YouTube for Remine Live. So I recommend, because Remine and RPR are both products that the applications are very much complementary to what you do on the computer or laptop, I would highly recommend that if you haven't taken those classes or it's been a while, that you sign up for them or that you watch the recordings that we have for you on YouTube. And with that, we have reached the end of, we hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you again for joining us.